All right, my beautiful people, we are live. I am so glad to be amongst such amazing people, and I have a great conversation prepared for you this evening. And I want to take a few minutes and just say, hey, introduce yourself, where you're checking in from. And we are also live on my Instagram platform. So we are broadcasting in lots of different places to lots of thousands, tens of thousands of people. So I'm excited to be here with you. Let's talk about making money right now. The thing that's really important about this is, and this is one of the things that I do with my clients more than anything, is getting them into a place where they are able to trust their ability to create their own economy. And it's amazing. I'll just start with this one question. What is your greatest expense? What is your greatest expense? Now, for those of you that have followed me for a long time, you're probably going to easily answer that question. But for those of you that haven't, it's really important for you to understand that there's some things that you can do to help you generate more wealth within yourself. So, what is your biggest expense? Your biggest expense is, well, most people think it's your mortgage payment, or it's your rent or car payment if you're living at home with your parents. No, 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 no. Your biggest expense is taxes, right? And the number one thing that you could do to help change that, and so that you get more disposable income that you get to take home, is actually having a home-based business, right? Like when I used to train for network marketing companies, I used to teach people is like, you could literally, okay, I am not accountant, nor do I play one online. I am speaking from my own experience. You could take like a 200, 300 to $1,000 investment and get into a MLM company or direct sales or whatever it is. And you could literally write off over $5,000 in taxes, because the wealth understand they get paid after everything. The number one tax is income tax, or getting paid your payroll tax. So number one thing that's taxed higher than anything else is payroll tax. So entrepreneurs understand that the best way to do this is to pay for everything, and then after that, then you get paid yourself, right? It's a great strategy. But see, a lot of people, and friends, I really want to drive this home. So mastery. Let's talk about mastery for a little bit. Mastery is being able to stand true to your commitment in whatever it is that you decide to make happen, right? And being able to manage yourself as you move through from the point you initiate it to the time that you end up start manifesting it. Mastery is being able to manage yourself through all that, through that process, through the initiation process, because in order for you to create something different than you've already created, you're going to have to become a different person, which means letting go of certain things that you've spent your whole life investing into, beliefs, values, memories, things like that. You're going to have to learn how to let go of the ones that are unaligned with what it is that you want to create. So this is what this has looked like. This is what this is all about. And a lot of people, entrepreneurs included, right? I have worked with, I can't tell you how many entrepreneurs. So, case in point, one of the things that, let me just ask you this question before I get into this, because this is really important. What is your narrative? What is the meaning that you have attached to money? Right now, I'm one of these kind of guys. I get it that there's some teachers out there that really don't expose or talk about the resources where they've learned certain things. I'm not that kind of guy. Yeah, I've read hundreds, well, over thousands of books now, but I want to share a book with everybody that's really important, because it's a no BS kind of book. And that's the kind of person that I am, and it's Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. And basically what he talks about is really getting in touch with what is your narrative, what is your belief system around money. Because, friends, a lot of people, and we've all been conditioned to believe this and understand that your perception is not really what reality is. And I go into this extensively into my product called the Potential Code. And I'm excited to bring it to public, almost all the production, post-production part of it. Now it's just putting it all together. And I'm super excited about this. Been working on this, putting it together for over 3 years. It's been over 10 years in the making. Super excited. And stick around till the end of it. I'm going to make that available to you. But with that said, is understanding that our beliefs determine what we perceive, right? And this has been a big part of my journey. And because I got the book, and I don't know if it's available anymore. In fact, I don't think it is anymore. I'll have to talk to my real good friend who actually works for T Harv. But I went and got that book, and then in that book, it had a ticket to go to one of his events. And in that event, they had us do a questionnaire about our our story around money. And when I filled that out, what ended up happening at the end of it, he says, "Does anybody want to share a big breakthrough that they had?" And I raised my hand, and this was like 500 people in this audience. And I stood up and I said, "I figured out that I made a decision that money was more important to me." Okay, now what happens is your unconscious wants to serve you. Okay, now in the potential code, I go through this in great detail. But for the sake of time and getting through the content that I wanted to get through tonight, I'm just going to talk about this real quick. You perceive what you believe, right? And your unconscious wants to serve you the best way, the best way it believes that it's serving you, right? So if you have a belief that says money's more important than you, guess what you're going to do with money, right? Guess what? How's that going to impact you when you go out and become an entrepreneur and it comes time for you to be able to promote yourself, and you have all these unconscious beliefs about how you see yourself, about how you value yourself, about how you believe everybody else is going to perceive you. How much do you think that's going to impact your ability to create the wealth that you want to create? It's going to massively impact it. I've talked about this a number of times. In fact, if you haven't subscribed or turned on the notifications or whatever so that you can get all my content, I would really recommend that you do that, because I am excited for 2022. I'm excited to really do all that I can to support people to making this next year the most epic year of their life. We've gone through 2 really interesting years, and these last 2 years have actually been the most abundant years of my life. 2021 was an interesting journey because it was a clearing year, and you'll learn more about that as we go on. So what I want to share with you is looking at what is your attitude about money. And I'll just give you a case in point. So one of my clients, I was doing work with him, and he made a decision about money. This guy makes $650,000 a year, and then next year make $40,000-$50,000, lose his job, whatever. And this was this up and down, ebb and flow kind of thing that he was very good at doing. Well, we started doing some work with him, and we discovered that he made a decision. See, his dad was an entrepreneur, and his dad was gone all the time. And see, he made the decision that money was what took his dad away from him. And see, we all want to be loved, right? Like, love is one of the things that we seek more than anything. Significance, recognition. You can change the variation of whatever it is that fits for you best, but understanding that when we want significance and we understand that, or we make a decision as a child, and understand this is child logic, that we are going to make a decision about money, and then that decision is going to impact how much money we have for the rest of our lives, right? He made a decision that money was more important than him, that money took his dad away from him because his dad was working as an entrepreneur all the time. Same strategy with him. So he'd make lots of money and push it away, make lots of money, push it away. And so this is a really, really, really important question, right? And then I started digging this. Now, I want to encourage you and invite you into, I'm looking at my Instagram thing up here too, so that's why my eyes are going back and forth. I want to invite you into this space where you can ask yourself questions and receive an honest answer and not put any judgment on it. This is one of the things that stops more people than anything, because see, why people lie? We all lie. I don't care who you are, you lie at some level, right? Like, your wife asks you how you look in something, or the guy asks his wife how, I mean, whatever it is, we all are not completely 100% authentic in all areas of our lives. And I say that to challenge you, because the reason we don't step into our truth is because we are afraid. Fear causes us to not be completely honest. Now, how many of you have said yes when you meant no, or said no when you meant yes, or whatever it is? It's really understanding how fear rules our life. And usually what we're afraid of is we're afraid of we're going to lose something. We're going to lose significance. We're going to lose a relationship, whatever that is. And see, the more you step into your authenticity, the more the results are going to be what they're supposed to be. I had a great business partner one time that used to tell me, he said, Jeff, when you live in your truth, the results are going to be what they're supposed to be. Otherwise, we are controlling it, right? And then we're always going to wonder why somebody's with us, because we are controlling and not really showing up as our authentic self. And that's going to impact how we really believe we are being received. Okay. So as I started going down this journey and started looking at various things and started seeing patterns, see, the more we recognize the patterns that we are playing out in our lives, the more we can recognize how our unconscious is serving us. Right. And over time, you're going to start seeing lots of patterns if you give yourself permission to be completely honest with yourself. Right. So I was still having money issues up and down. And then I got to the real core one, the big, 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 big core one. And that was, I remember making a decision as a child that I hated money. How do you think that impacted my ability to attract it? How do you think that impacted my ability to put myself out there and be vulnerable? To ask for people to hire me as their coach, to ask people to buy my products or invest into my group coachings or my masterminds or my book, whatever it is, anything that has to do with me putting my content out there. I have this unconscious belief inside of me that says I hate money. Because, see, I used to watch my parents argue over money. And see, as a child, we don't understand that level of what's really going on. And so we go, money is causing this, right? So I really want you to take a look at what programs did you receive about money? Because, friends, that's all this is. It's all about programming, right? And we've got to look at the programs that keep us from creating the results that we want to create, right? This is what I do, right? And I'm going to invite you into an opportunity that I'm going to really share with you some strategies that could exponentially change your life from this moment forward. I do some techniques I've done them. Again, I don't do anything with my clients or students that I haven't done with myself, but some of these techniques that I've done have literally been responsible for changing somebody's income 3,000% within a very short amount of time. And we're not talking about somebody that made a little bit of money. We're talking about somebody that made a lot of money and increased it exponentially within a very short amount of time. Because your life force, your focus is what your life force is. And if we're not aware of where to put that focus, we are burning up energy and we're going into lower vibrations. So think of it like this. If you go to okay, don't recommend doing this, but if you're like me, you like to test things, because I don't like to take things at face value all the time, but yet I still do at times. Go into a grocery store hungry. Right now, I'm pretty disciplined. I'm pretty good at being able to figure out what's healthy for me, not healthy for me. But even when I go to a grocery store hungry today, and depending on how hungry I am, and we'll put tired and frustrated or whatever on top of that, I'm going to make very inappropriate choices. Okay. Now, the reason for that is because when I go into that grocery store, I'm in a state of survival. I'm in a state of survival. So my body is communicating way more than any logical strategy that I'm going to come up with. Right. And so my body takes over, and my body does not want to feel the way that it is feeling anymore. So I end up buying a bunch of garbage, or my appetite's way big. My eyeballs get way bigger than my appetite. And I end up buying all this stuff and end up throwing it out later because I want this uncomfortableness to go away. Right now, this is what happens with money. Right. This is why 85% of lottery winners file bankruptcy within 5 years of winning the lottery. The statistics are everywhere, my friends. The statistics are everywhere. All you got to do is step back and look at the data is there. When we start, how do you handle yourself in the unknown? Right. Because the greatest, well, not the greatest, but it's right up there. The greatest strategy that you could ever do for yourself is knowing how to generate income out of thin air, right? Because think about what's happened in the last 2 years. The world was shut down. The world was shut down. And there were some people that got fabulously wealthy. Jeff Bezos was one of them. Zoom was one of them, right? And it's the same thing what happened back in the Depression. When the Depression happened, there were some people that got very, very, very successful. Of course, back then they didn't have the regulations that they have today, but there's different ways to make money today, right? So really looking at what is your level of a deservedness. What is your level of deservedness? And see, I don't want to say this because there's probably some people on here that are going to get offended, but I'm not here to offend you. I'm here to expose some things that really have held people back. The educational system was designed to create employees, right? All you have to do is go investigate this and look a little bit beyond what the mass media wants you to understand. The educational system was created to generate employees. No judgment value, nothing about that. I've got a 7-year college degree. I did the dance. I did the song and dance, right? And the reason they set this up was, guess who runs the system? Guess who runs the educational system? Big business, right? And if you got a job and you love it, awesome. That's awesome. This is not all about being an entrepreneur. Although I think everybody should be an entrepreneur at some level, because everybody should step into the space of really looking at how much do you value who you are. I think that's imperative, because if you're not in touch with how much you value yourself or value what you offer to this world, you're missing a great opportunity to really find out what you're capable of, right? And so what we do, and this is one of the conversations I've seen so many times. Well, Jeff, money's not that important. Okay, cool. Got it. Totally get it. And the love of money is not a great thing, right? Like I don't chase money just for money's sake. I want money because of what money does for me. It gives me lots of choices. It gives me opportunities to support things that I want to support. It gives me the opportunity for me to travel. It gives me opportunity to expand my message out there more and more, because my message is all about transforming people's lives. And I want to do every single thing that I can to support that and getting it out there on the level that can impact as many people as possible, right? Money is a catalyst, right? So it's not about the money, it's what the money will do for us. But we've got to really look at what is it, our narratives around it. So what is expensive? In fact, I'd encourage you to remove that word from your vocabulary, because when you define something as expensive, you have just defined what you believe is possible for you. But when you start saying, how can I create that? Totally different narrative. And guess what? Your unconscious wants to serve you, but it's going to serve you the way it believes you want to be served. And if you want to be served in not stepping into uncomfortable areas because of the beliefs and programs that you were conditioned to believe as a child, it's going to create that for you. Right. But when you start stepping out into the unknown and understanding, anytime we step out in the unknown, anytime I step out in the unknown, I'm going to have some stuff come up in my body that's going to want to shut it down and go back to what's familiar. Right. And this is where the threshold's at. You can literally start feeling where the thresholds are at. Like when you're stepping into a new arena, every time we step outside of our comfort zone, we are creating another comfort zone, my friend. Right. Your comfort zone is seduction. It is seduction. It is seducing you to believe that this is what it is. But you start looking at nature, and this is not how nature shows up, right? Like nature is all about stepping into its fullest potential. But see, this wonderful thing that we have as humans, it's our greatest blessing and it's our greatest curse. It's our greatest blessing and it's our greatest curse. And it is called the opportunity to choose. We get to choose. We get to choose what we're going to believe. We get to choose what we are going to perceive. We get to choose the narratives that we are going to create, whether they're going to support us or sabotage our lives. So I'm going to ask you a question that I want you to really think about. And I would encourage you to really, really think about this really, really hard. In fact, I would even encourage you to put it on a Post-it note and stick it on your computer where you can see this all the time. Because this is a question that you should filter every single moment of your life through. Are you supporting or are you sabotaging what you want to create? Are you supporting or are you sabotaging what you want to create? Because we're hanging on to limiting beliefs. If we are hanging on to excuses, if we are blaming somebody else, if we are in a place that we don't want to be in, we're not willing to make the choices of being uncomfortable to create something different, are we supporting or are we sabotaging where it is that we want to go? There is no land of gray. There's no in between. Right? It's either or. And I'm not a person that believes in looking through duality, but this is one of those questions for you to absolutely get real about how are you showing up in your life? You are the author of your life. Life doesn't happen to us or for us. Life happens through us. And we are the ones that are determining the narrative of what we are creating. So every morning, what are you saying when you get up in the morning? I am a money magnet, whatever that means. I am abundant. I am prosperous. I am loved. Anytime you say I am and you finish that statement, that has just self-proclaimed who you think you are. I am not capable. I am not able to do this. I am stuck. Whatever that is, start changing the narrative of this. Because friends, and I share this a lot, and it's something that every time I say it, it's a good reminder for me. Just because I teach this stuff doesn't mean that I live at 100% accurate. In fact, some of the times I teach just what I need to teach in order for me to be reminded myself, right? I teach so that I get to learn. That's why I teach, right? Yes, obviously I want to make an impact in people's lives, but me teaching it integrates this stuff for me in an even deeper level. But that is the word abracadabra. What does the word abracadabra mean, right? It literally means I create what I speak. There is energy, there is vibration behind our words. And we get to choose. It takes the same amount of effort to say debilitating, limiting things as it does to say empowering, unlimited things. Right now, get this. I had this conversation with my friend It was a great conversation. And he said, you know, the amount of time it takes to be a billionaire is the same amount of time it takes to make $40,000 a year. I mean, think about that. It takes the same amount of time to make $1 billion as it does to make $40,000 a year. Now, what do you think? What do you think is more challenging? Now, we'll back way back and say $1 million a year. What do you think is more difficult, to make $40,000 a year or to make $1 million a year? I want you to think about that a little bit. If you think it's more difficult to make $1 million a year, then you don't understand how to leverage. You don't understand how to step into your value. Because I promise you, a garbage man that's out there making, and I just picking a garbage man. And if you love being a garbage man, that's awesome. There's no value judgment, right? I'm just using this as an example of what's possible. A garbage man works his butt off at $40,000 a year. I've detailed cars. I've worked on drilling rigs. I've made pretty decent money as a jeweler, but I make way more money now. But understanding, if you're trading your time for money, it is way, Warren Buffett says it, as long as if you're not making money while you sleep, you'll never be rich. As long as you're trading time for money, you will never be able to scale. Thanks, April. You guys, it is. You're my friends. You're my family. I love all of you. So it's really important for you to understand it takes the same amount of time to make $1 million as it does 40,000 a year. You just get to choose what it is that you want to create. Now, if you are, and I'm all about leverage, right? So think about this. If it took you, so let's say you make $100,000 a year. Let's say $50,000 a year, okay? Because we're getting closer to the average income there. Let's say it makes $50,000 a year. How long would it take you to make $1 million? 20 years, right? It'd take you 20 years making $50,000 a year to make $1 million a year, or to make $1 million, right? So what if I could show you some strategies that you could shorten that and in say 4 years, make $1 million a year? You just bought back 16 years of your life. You just bought back 16 years of your life. How much would that be worth to you? How much would that be worth to you, my friend? I mean, to me, that's like, oh my gosh, because then you do it in 4 years, then you got 4 more chances of expanding that and making that happen, right? So you do that, that's probably in the tune of about well over $5 million, right? Now, I'm not claiming you're going to do that, but see, it's understanding the power of leverage. It's understanding leverage. It's understanding, my friend, how much you value you. There's nobody on this planet ever has been, is, or ever will be that sees life the way you see it. Your greatest asset is what you've paid the biggest price to achieve. Your biggest price, the thing that you've priced the price of admission more than anything else in any area of your life, is your life. It's your life, right? And when we are not able to see ourselves in the pictures, we don't recognize how much we have. Necessity is the mother of all invention. We've all heard that saying, right? Necessity is the mother of all invention. Well, what happens out of that is we have this opportunity, problem, challenge, whatever you want to call that, but we are the one that is presented this opportunity, this possibility, and then we learn how to figure it out, and then it just becomes a part of who we are, and then we don't value that somebody else can benefit from this, right? Like when I started getting online, I mean, I was back on the internet before the web was even around. They used to call it shopping malls, and I was doing advertisement for those. And I started selling jewelry online, and people thought I was crazy. They're like, there's no way that people are going to buy jewelry online. Has changed the jewelry industry radically. Like I was selling diamonds online, and I was a big seller and did very, very, very well. But see, our beliefs determine what we perceive. Our beliefs determine what we perceive. And see, then one day I woke up and I had 1,500 auctions in my email. Boom, in a nanosecond, within me going to bed and waking up the next morning, my entire business got shut down. I had to pivot. And it was something that somebody else had done that I got accused for, and I had to pivot. And to me, I look back on that and really look at, this was the catalyst to get me to really look at, what price am I paying to be in the space that I'm being? Now, I've been coaching for 15 years prior to doing that. And then I just started changing, looking at some different things. And it was about a 2-year period of me really searching deep within myself, talking to people that were very interested in supporting me, me learning to let go of the things that were not allowing me to expand. And then it just hit me. And when it hit me that I'm supposed to be coaching people full time and doing what I'm doing, like I remember the first speaker training I went to, it was over 14 years ago, right? And I had just sold all my gold sweeps, like everything that I had had. And we were walking out the door and I get a check from the refinery. Open it up and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I thought it was too much money. So I called the refiner and said, dude, is this really real? Are you sure this is what I got? And he goes, yeah, that's what you got. It was a check for $7,500. Okay. Like 3 times as much as I thought it was going to be. Go down to this training for 3 days. At the end of it, this guy introduces me to the possibility of being an author and a speaker and selling information products. And I'm like, wow, I never even thought of that before. And guess what? I had to write a check out for $8,500. $8,500. Had no idea. Just sold my entire jewelry business, all my stuff. Had no idea how I was going to achieve this, but I took a risk. I took a risk, right? And I did my first online video. Well, I didn't even actually get it online. My first online video when I was in my early 40s, right? Like anything is possible when you put your mind to it. But see, you get to create the value of the experience by your authority, your authorship of how you define it, right? Like I had a podcast, still have it. You can check it out at potentialzone.show.com. And when I set that up, I said, I'm going to the reason I created it was because I wasn't able to have intellectual conversations with the people in my environment. I wanted to have more stimulating conversations with people, right? So I started putting this out there, and guess what? Napoleon Hill talks about this in Think and Grow Rich. If you haven't read Think and Grow Rich, oh my gosh, you are doing yourself a major disservice. That is the book that is more responsible for more wealthy people than any other book. And I've probably listened to that book probably 200 to 300 times. I'm not kidding. I mean, just imprinted in my mind. But he talks about being able to talk to people that are going to support you, like that are going to call you forward and bring out a better version of who you are. Right. And so I started having conversations with different people and I was absolutely blown away. Right. I broke out of this pattern of like when I was in network marketing, I'd get in this program and I would go talk to my 5 friends that were the same financial level as I was and was wondering why I couldn't build a business. Because they had the same financial blueprint as I did. And they're like, are you crazy, dude? This is one of those pyramid scams and blah, blah, blah. Okay. What are you willing to do to change your financial future? Right. And so when I went down to this speaker training and went through the thing that I went through, he introduced me to a possibility that I never thought possible. And 3 years ago, I became an international best-selling author for the first time. Right. And I had to go through a 2-year period of where I had a woman come live with me that literally, figuratively, metaphorically want to destroy every area of my life. Right. It was hell for 2 years. Cost me probably to the tune of about 30 grand, not costing the emotions, all the frustration, all the other stuff like that. But what came out of it was my ability and my determination to create my own book. And now I do that for other clients, right? I publish books for other clients as well. But see, this is all part of forging you stepping into owning your message. You've earned the right to do that, my friend. Nobody's paid the price like you have paid to get where you're at in your life, right? And if your child's life depended on it, you stepping out there and making your dreams a reality, I promise you, you would not be coming up with the excuses that you come up with for yourself, right? Like, what excuse is standing in the way of you not living your fullest dream? What excuse is it? Call it what it is. We have to identify our demons, right? Our shadows, whatever. I mean, however you want to define it, but we cannot change what we're not aware of. So what is the excuse that you use that keeps you from stepping into your greatness? It's too hard. I'm not smart enough. I grew up poor. I don't know the right people. I don't have enough time. Nobody's going to like me. I can't communicate effectively. I mean, I'm not intelligent. I mean, I just on and on and on and on. Right. But I started changing what it was that I was thinking inside. And over time, I'm going to tell you 3 of the biggest disciplines that I did every single morning that radically changed my life. That radically changed my life. First one is read 10 pages of a good book every single day. Have not stopped doing that, right? Listen to something 15 minutes of every day that is uplifting. And then the other thing is surround yourself with people that are doing better than you. Okay. Those three things right there, do them consistently. Now I've added many things on top of that since then, but these are the your daily habits are what creating your destiny, right? So get in proximities of people that challenge how you think. Get around people that are making things happen, and you will be absolutely blown away at what is possible. Okay. So that's what I want to talk to you a little bit about, right? Because here is the big possibility that's going to be happening. I'm going to be doing a masterclass tomorrow at 6 p.m. Pacific time. And I'm going to be sharing some strategies. I call it my ACE method. Okay. The A stands for activate your superhuman ability, right? Like literally being able to get into that part of you that would do anything for something that you value more than you do your own self, right? Like you value in your child's life and you would do anything possible to make that happen, right? That's activating your superhuman ability, right? The C stands for clarify. You being clear about what it is that you really want to create in your life and the 6 different domains of your life, right? Like we have different domains in our life. And one of the things that's really important is we start getting in this place where we have one area of our life is starting to expand. And because that one area is starting to expand and we don't know how to categorize their different domains, it starts impacting us. And what is so important about this, we are homeostasis, which means we love balance, right? So that means if I have a glass of ice water right here, that ice would melt and it would become room temperature. Or if I had boiling water, put it in here, it would cool down and become room temperature. We are homeostasis. Everything balances. So if you're wanting to create a financial different blueprint for your life and you're living with somebody that doesn't want to go along with you, you're going to have a challenge, right? You're going to have these times of confrontation, and the one that is most committed is going to win. So that's what I'm saying. There's things that we have to let go within ourselves that allow us to expand, because for you to expand, we don't understand we have chains on until we start to move, right? So if you're going to expand, you have to be able to identify and get clear about what keeps pulling you back to what is comfortable for you. Okay, so that's the clarity part. The E is for execute, right? Like creating strategies so that you can execute the things that are necessary and that are aligned to create the life and business or health or relationship, whatever it is that you want to create in your life, right? This is what I'm going to be teaching in this masterclass. Amazing, amazing. It's absolutely free. In fact, when you register right now by going to masteringpotential.com, don't go yet, going to masteringpotential.com, I'm going to give you 3 videos. So what's really important, when you go register, make sure you go and check your spam filters, because in there's going to be 3 powerful videos that I talk about literally stepping into your fullest potential, right? Like my whole life is all about potential, which is actually the actualization of possibility, right? I want to do everything I can to support you this year, my friends. And there is not ever going to be an opportunity like this. Now I get it. People say this all the time. I get it. Okay. There will never be another opportunity like this. I am teaching this class tomorrow, and that'll be it. That'll be it. And it's not going to, you will have, well, we'll see. We'll see. But you're not ever going to have an opportunity like this again, because I want to there's something that I'm doing. I'm bringing out a membership site. There's just a lot of things that I'm doing. And I really want to invite some people into some incredible opportunities for themselves, right? I'm not selling anything. I'm just educating you, giving you some powerful, powerful strategies. And you do not want to miss this. This is going to be it is by far the best work, some of the best work I've ever done. Some of this came out of that. Mine is probably the lack of time or thinking I don't have enough experience. Yeah. So, that, and April, I appreciate you saying that, because I interviewed a speaker on my show a while back, Larry Winget, amazing guy. And he was a construction worker. And one day he decided he wanted to be a motivational speaker. So guess what he started doing? He started reading motivational books, right? You can read 6 books on one topic and know more than 95% of the people in the world, right? But then see, the other thing that's cool about this is that you're adding those 6 books, information and knowledge on top of everything else that you know. So you're going to have a different perception than everybody else out there, right? Again, it's how you set up. Okay, I'm so glad you said this, April, because this is really, really good. See, It's not failure that we're afraid of. It's not failure that we're afraid of. In fact, failure is an illusion. Failure is a complete illusion. It is not real. What makes failure real is the narrative we create about it. That's what we're afraid of. We are afraid of how we are going to communicate to ourselves if the results are not what we hope that they would be. I really want you to hear what I just said, my friend. That right there is so profound. Thomas Edison did not fail 10,000 times in creating the incandescent light. He found 10,000 times it didn't work. Right? Mastery is being able to look at the feedback objectively and make course corrections based on the information that you're receiving back. Right? And being able to manage your emotions as you go through that. That's mastery. Right? And so in Mastering Potential, I'm going to show you what mastery is, and I'm going to show you what potential is. Right? And really take it to an entirely different level. Okay. So make sure you register for Mastering Potential now. Make sure once you do register for it that you look into your spam folder and make sure you whitelist it, because there's going to be 3 videos that I'm going to be sending you immediately, and you do not want to miss this class. This is a master class. And the other thing you might want to do is you might want to go buy a helmet, because your mind's going to be blown. Right? This is the stuff that and what I'm going to be doing this year. I mean, yeah, I've created 5 products last year, did 2 group coachings, powerful group coachings. This whole thing came to be out of me doing a program for prosperity group coaching, 12-week group coaching thing with one of my clients. Now we're partners. We mentor each other now. And just amazing things have been happening. So I really wanted to do a masterclass that just really takes people understanding to an entirely different level. So I appreciate everybody being here. Much love. And if you guys could actually share this video, that would be greatly appreciated, because I promise you there's somebody on your timeline that could use this information. If you want to be a change, be the change, and support as many other people as you can in making this reality for them, and they'll thank you for it. Right? We're here to make an impact on this planet. We find happiness in progress, and we find fulfillment by supporting other people. Right? Like me turning my pain into my purpose, most liberating thing I've ever done in my life. Right? Like I found incredible value going through my own journey. I didn't sign up to be a coach. I promise you, I didn't sign up to be a coach. I ended up being a coach because I learned how to do what I needed to do to save my life, and then being able to step into higher levels of expansion. Right? And that's what I'm here. That's what my whole mission is, to teach people to do the exact same thing. So I look forward to seeing you at masteringpotential.com. We are going to be starting class tomorrow, 6:00 sharp, Pacific Standard Time. You do not want to miss those 3 videos that I'm giving away, so that we can prep you to get into the class. So I appreciate everybody being here. Happy New Year. Have a great Happy New Year. And so glad you're here. Thank you so much. Love each and every one of you. And if there's anything I can do to support you, let me know. Comment below what it is that your biggest takeaway was, how I can support you. Because friends, understand, any question that you have might be the question that somebody isn't even aware that they have. And so you asking that question might prompt something within them that will cause a breakthrough for them. Right? So don't be selfish with your questions. Share your thoughts. The most powerful person in the room is the most vulnerable. Yeah. So I love each and every one of you. Thank you so much for being here. It's been a great time. And I will see you tomorrow night at masteringpotential.com. Be blessed, my friends. Much love. Take care.